Welcome to another movie. As you can see, we are back with the SG1203, the Ripsaw Ev2. That's how this V-cycle is called in real world. And I did check out the real one, and wow, that's a really great and luxury tracked car if you are interested in that. Actually, this is the second time I'm filming this, because I did make small mistake and I don't want other people to do this, so that's why I'm making it again. So what I want to show you, you may know that already from the title, is that we will not use this. This is the original radio from this machine. It's good, it's not so bad, there's no adjustment on it, that's why I did not like it. Also, I cannot turn on or off lights, only the light bar. So I took out the electronic. Here's the circuit board, the electronic that's inside, and I can tell you it's well designed. This is a really good board. It's not a typical toy great circuit board. It's a really well designed electronic than others. So I did see the compare to the second one, the military version of this machine, and that is a toy. And you can also see that by the electronic that's inside is just a toy. This is the difference. So I will not use this. Of course, I will keep it if I will need to modify a toy for someone or something like that, so that will be a keeper. Of course, I will not need this battery. Battery is good, it is not bad, or I hope it's good, because it always depends what quality of this batteries are inside, and that will depend how good it is, because on fail cars mostly one of them are dying, and so that's not so good. But it's hard to how to determine that it is good or not, because sometimes they use batteries with fire in name, True Fire, Ultra Fire, and those are really bad batteries. I may still use this. It's a standard charger, but of course I have more professional ones, so I don't need that. Now first let me show you how it's working. I will show you outside, don't worry, I will show it inside. I did not put it together. Sorry for not showing how I did that, because I did film it, but it was long. Sorry, I know all my haters will love it, because I will not show so long movie, because they always yelled at me. Sorry, but I need to show sometimes how I do it. First thing that you will see, there's no switch under it. I put a hot glue there. I don't need a switch under it, because it's catching everything, all the dirt and stuff like that, so I don't need that. Second thing is battery. I don't remember this name, it's probably GENSACE, if I remember. ACO press by the ACO, if I not wrong. It's the biggest battery I did fit inside, just because the thickness of the battery. So this is 220 milliamps, but a 50C. This one is a stronger battery. It's using standard DNT connector, so I solder connector in here, very thick cables, and I use a hot glue to cover this hole and protect the cable from moving and ripping off, and it's soldered inside. So as you can see, that's a really tight fit. I still have the foam that was protecting the battery, but I don't need that anymore because this thing is tight fit. So let me put that. I will put the screw just to keep it. Now, because I will not use this, so how I will steer it, I have this. You may already know this brand. So this is the DumboRC, of course. What else? I did order one with the potentiometers. There was a good price on it, so I did order it. Actually, I'm using only the switch in here. I don't have any other stuff. I could use this, or if I did buy without the gyroscope, so with the gyroscope I would also use this thing, but not in here. I have my analog battery, of course, inside just to test it. The blue light means normal mode. I will tell about that later. Now, how do I turn it on? Like this. I move the switch inside. That's much better solution because it will not catch any dirt. It's much more easy to turn on and off. I put the off downside because it's much more easy to turn it off if something will go wrong. So I put it up. As you can hear, there is a ESC sound. And what this button do is it's turning on the lights. Let me turn off one of the, or maybe two, because I have my work light on. So what I will put it a little bit away, maybe. Yes, like this. I have the front lights, the top lights, light bar, and the rear lights. There is no brake light, no nothing. I just connected it to the switch. So the front lights are the 3mm LEDs. I have the flat top because it's much more easy to put it inside. In here and on the back I have the SMD LEDs, the smaller ones, the 805 type. That's the size of the LED, and it's just held by a hot glue on both sides. I am using, let me see, I am using this thin wires. Those are for wiring the motors. They are really great, easy to hide. The only place that you can see, I don't know how well you will see it, but it's in here. That's the only place where you can see the cables. I did drill a hole by an angle on the back and drill a hole in the bumper and just slide it inside, and that was working fine. It was really hard to get it in the middle because those LEDs are really small, but as you can see it's working fine. And compared to the original, I have a on-off switch where I can turn it on and off. About the light bar, a light bar is designed have a 350 ohms resistors on this light bar. Each LED has its own resistor, so that means it can work up to 8 volts, not higher. So you cannot connect it directly to battery. Keep that in mind. You can use the 5 volts, 6 volts, up to 8 volts, and that's the max. So that's for the lights. As you may see, is leaning a little bit to the front because I put a weight inside. That's later. Of course, the steering. I'm using a DumboRC for the steering and a bigger motor for the drive. I will explain that later. The only problem is that when I go forward and back to the wait, let me turn on the second light back, and when I want to go backward, it will not go until I put it to the back, to the center, and then to the back. That's quite weird, but it's still working. So now thanks to the weight, a little bit too much, it will not stand up and roll to the back. It will just keep on the wheels. I will talk about that later when I open it up. So let me set it like this. Remember, with the DumboRC, always and again always switch the car first, because DumboRC sending random signals from the receiver, and the car may just run with the high speed or tune or something like that. That's the most annoying problem with the DumboRC, but still is working. So as you may see, let's talk about this. There are many ways inside. So what I did, let me take that, to measure, to see how much I need, I did a simple thing. I took a box. I think that's the middle, or for me that was the middle, and I put the tank like this. Then I connected the scale to it and put it down and measure how much force I need to get this down. So to show you that much better, I need to first close it. I will use the wall stick because it's round. It's much better. Actually, the wall stick is not so bad. I have my envelope for it, but still is quite weak. And now I put it like this. I need to get it in the position, and it's quite hard to get it in the position, and that's how I try to balance. So that's about 300 grams of weight on the front, maybe a little bit too much, but I still wanted to have it somewhere in the middle. As you can see, now it's on the front, now it's on the back, so that means it's about 300 grams to get this balance. We are going back, so that's it. About lead, like I said, I put the lead inside, put a hot glue, and just cover it with a black isolating tape. Mostly I do the same on the back, on the front. On the front is much more easy. If you want to modify and aid lights, start from the front. It's much more easy. There are two cables going from the sides. They are going together, and somewhere under all this weight, those cables are going. Now here is the power switch. Is just connected to the battery, and then it's connected to both ESCs. This is the DumboRC 10 amps ESC, and that's connected to the top motor. And now about the gearbox. There are two motors. One is on the top, one is on the bottom side. There are two layers of gearbox. The top one is controlling the steering. So I think it's like always, one motor for left track, one motor for right track. No, this car having a something like motorized differential. So it's working like this. The bottom motor, the one on the first layer, is a bigger one. That's 390 motor, the type 390, and that one is spinning the whole axle, the whole differential. The top motor is connected to the differential and is turning just the differential. So this motor only turning in not the same direction. So if the right track is going forward, the left track is going back, and that's how the top motor works, only like this. And the bottom motor spin the whole axle. So that's really great, because that means you don't need to have any V mixer. You just need to have two ESCs. My problem, that's why I'm filming this again, is that I try to use this ESC for the bottom motor, for the drive motor. and that's overheating it. The 10 amps is not enough for it. The funny part is that for the turning motor, that's 150 motor, is a better type of toy motors, is enough. It's getting slightly warm, so great. And still I have 6 volts, so my LEDs can work with max brightness, like I'm also using the 350 ohms resistors. From the ESC is going to the receiver, that's somewhere inside there on the bottom side, and the antenna is on the side. One moment, I will reset the camera. Sorry for that, but I'm limited to 4 GB of movies, and that's about 60 minutes. And there is another ESC. Let me try to rotate it. Here is a bigger ESC. Actually, that was the biggest ESC I did find. I have a manual in here for it, and as far I didn't know what is that. It's a WP1040. I think that's Quicrun, but there is no information about that. But this one have, if I'm not wrong, I think I have 1060. I did not check it there, but I think I have this one, and that's 60 amps to the forward and 50 amps for the backward. I don't need 50 amps because I mostly will go forward. I can always tune because I have a tank type, and both of those ESCs can work with the 3S. So that means I can use it with 2S and 3S batteries. But these gears are plastic. So you may see a picture on the internet where they are metal. Some of those gears are metal, like on the motors, and I did see on differential there are 2 metal ones, but most of them are plastic. So now, if you can make this brushless, but the gears will not survive this. So that's you need to remember about this. There are always possibilities to upgrade it, but mostly it will just destroy some of the mechanical parts, because this thing is not designed for it. I have a Feiyu FI03, the popular one, with brushless motor, but I have I changed a gear for it, and now with that gear I can use it, but in here I cannot switch any gears, so I will not play with that. The motor is really strong, the gearbox is amazing in here. I only find so complicated gearbox in my walking robots, like with the doll head, and this one is really complicated, but it's really great design. This allows us to use normal transmitter with normal receiver, no vmixer is needed, just 2 ESCs. So I have a 60 amp on the drive, 10 amps on the control on the steering, just because I like this ESCs, and they have the light switch. Light is connected in here in those bunch of cables, and here is I will try to get it closer. Here is a splitter board that I designed. It's just a many connection that all are using the 350 ohm resistors, just to set the brightness. Remember, if you have 5 volts, you can use a bigger ohms or small ohms. Oh, sorry, I don't remember now. Wait, let me think. If you want to use the 5 volts, you can use the 250 ohms, if I'm not wrong, but it's always good to calculate that, and I'm using a site where I can check what's the minimum ohms that I need, and then I just use a bunch of small ohms, small resistor that are marked what the resistance is, and I just see what the lights is better for me, if I want to have a strong light or just a realistic light. So actually that's all inside that I wanted to show. As you can see, it's ready now, but of course it's winter, so it means it's raining all day, so I will not be able to test it out. I just clean it. Believe me, I hate to have so mudded, so dirty RCs. I know people will find that really dumb, but I just like to build. I don't want it to get into mud and then clean it with water and hose. And still, this car is not waterproof by default. We can do that. As you can see, the electronic can be put in some box, but the only problem is that the battery is on the bottom side, and that will get water in there, and the battery may not survive it. If you put the battery in here, no problem. Probably this would work fine. The only problem will be the space that the gearbox is connected to the wheels. Again, and I repeat again, don't use metal tracks with these plastic wheels. I showed that in the last movie. If you want to see it, it's somewhere in here, if I remember to put it, because metal tracks will eat these wheels. I did test that. First thing is on one length is too loose, on another one is too tight. It's getting really hard to put it inside. So and also when I did leave it a little bit loose just to allow the suspension to work, it started to eat the drive wheels, and there are really hard marks on it. So until they release metal wheels for it, and probably it will be better for this, but it's not so important like the drive wheels, because this motor have a lot of torque with this gearbox, and it's just eating these wheels like crazy with metal tracks. And also the rubber tracks are in the real car. They don't use metal tracks, they use rubber tracks. So if the Ripsaw Ev2 have the rubber tracks, I will have it also. They don't have the military police car like this one. I did like the gray or green, I don't remember that what color was the second one, but they did not have it, and I really wanted to have this one. And so far that's one of the best and one of my favorite cars that I have. That's why I wanted to upgrade it. I still don't know how good this electronic setup will work, but I hope it will last longer. If not, I will just switch the DumboRC ESC to a better one. But for now, it's for me it's finished. Now I will just screw it all down, and that's ready for me. Remember, the about 300 grams to the front, and this thing should not flip it, but that may depend how big the battery is with the original, and that may be less or more. So that's all for now. I will try to put all the links to the parts in the description, and see you in next movie.